And Robert has a book called The Unfair Advantage, right? Unfair Advantage, The Power of Financial Education. And he was kind, said, Andy, write a little bit in a couple of chapters. And the question he asked me was the difference between an amateur and a pro. I said, well, my opinion is that amateurs try to get a capital gain. They're trying to buy high or buy low and sell high. And they're like, where's the crash so I can sell my stuff before? And all that does is exacerbate the crash. And then they protect themselves through diversification. They say, well, I'm just going to buy everything. When a systemic market crash, that doesn't do anything for you. So the pros, I said, they focus on the cash flow and they protect themselves with insurance, with contracts, is what I said in that book. And I feel the same today. I haven't changed. A put option simply gives you a choice. That's another word for choice is option. Put option gives you a choice to sell high if you wanted to. And as those stocks fall, let's say a stock goes from $100 to $5. Well, if you have the right to sell at 100, you've got a guarantee that you could sell that stock at 100. You don't need to own the stock. You could go buy it at 5 and sell it at 100. Therefore, that contract has what we call, a little jargon here, if you can stomach it, intrinsic value. And you don't have to touch the stock. You can sell the contract, be flush with cash, buy even more shares at the low price. And that's just how it's done over and over and over and over again. So insurance is how you deal with a market crash, and you take that insurance and you buy more stuff with it cheap. Last episode we recorded, I was talking about ExxonMobil, and I wanted to buy it at 55. And I wound up buying it about 43. So what's that? $12 even cheaper. Why? Was it started to fall. I didn't know COVID was going to happen. I had my eye on it anyway. I wanted more shares because 55 is a freaking great price right there. I mean, what's it at today? 109. So I'm buying at 55. Once it hit 55 and I got paid to buy it, so got paid a little bit of money to buy it at 55 by selling a put. So I'm like, man, COVID might drive this further. So I bought a put. And as that went down, the intrinsic value of that put went up $12. The stock didn't get to zero. It got to the high 30s, I believe. And I decided to sell that put. So my cost basis was around 43. Well, I took that cash, right, from the put and applied it towards the stock, and you make more money and you could buy more shares. So that's how that works. And is it difficult to learn? It's awfully simple if you get it. It's simply awful if you don't. And that's where you want to learn from trusted teachers, right? Because there's too much misinformation in the information age. That's what worries me. Fun, simple, and real has never been more important. I never realized the real part was going to be so big because I didn't know AI was coming. When I put my company values that education be fun, simple, and real, I didn't really realize how valuable real would become once AI. I didn't know we were going to have AI. And when I get on Chat GPT, I'm mortified at what it tells me and how bad it's gotten. Because why? Where does it get all its information? From the body of knowledge and misinformation that's out there. So you gotta have fun, simple, and real.
So, Andy, what exactly are stock options? We talked about puts a little bit, but just a little refresher. What are stock options?
Sure.
And how do they protect us?
Stocks options gives the owner of the option the right but not the obligation to trade that stock at a specific price for a specific time. So it's basically an insurance policy, and you can insure yourself to, and I love that word insure because the word is sure. Think about that. The defining characteristic of stock prices might be unpredictability. So if you're going to delve in an arena that has prices change and you care about that sort of thing, to have some surety to balance the unsurety is worth paying for. And so insurance means that I'm not sure, I don't think that my house is going to burn down, but I'm not sure that it won't. So I'm going to buy some insurance so I can have some surety that if it does burn down, it won't matter. Okay, a stock price. I'm not sure the stock price will go down, but I think it might. Well, I could buy some insurance so I could get some surety. So it's I would not be excited about about being in stocks if I didn't have options. I really wouldn't. If someone's in stocks and they're not in the options world, they're leaving money on the table. They're leaving protection on the table. Why not bring surety to the unsureness if it's available? So that's all a stock option is. It gives you choices at what prices you'd like to trade your stocks at. And if you'd like to ensure that you can buy it at a certain place, or you'd like to ensure that you can sell at a certain place, and you care about that sort of thing, then options are a way to do that. And for a very small amount of money relative to the stock, you can guarantee your ability to buy something or guarantee your ability to sell some. It's your choice. You don't have to, but you can guarantee your ability. You have the right, the ability, but not the obligation. It's a choice. And choice is good. Who doesn't want choice? So it gives you freedom. It gives you protection. The Chicago Board of Options Exchange in Chicago used to be what they call open outcry. Before we had great computers, this is in the 70s, early 70s, people would, sell, buy, they'd have hand signals, they'd fight. Like in Ferris Bueller, they go in Chicago and they go see the options exchange, or like in trading places when they go to the commodities, supposedly it's a little Hollywood there. The two largest options pits when it was open outcry was the SPX options pit and the VIX, the volatility index option pit. And now it's all electronic, but they're still the highest volume. And the reason those are the two largest is that's where the protection is purchased. So you can buy a put option. We'll give an example. You can do this two ways. You can buy a put option to insure against a drop in a specific stock, or you can buy a put option to insure yourself against a big drop in the market, or you could buy a call option on the VIX that if volatility spikes, you could make a lot of money. So those are the three basic ways you could start in beginning to understand those three opportunities. So that's what an option is. An option gives you the right but not the obligation to trade a stock at the price you choose for a time period that you choose. That's what it does.
Perfect. All right. So with that context, we know what stock options are. Now, how can we use, let's say, puts to hedge against a crash? And is there any stories, any real world examples that you could add to that?
And my favorite story on this is Mark Cuban. Not because he did it any better than anyone else could do it, but it's so big and such a cool part of his story. It's just a great story to introduce people to this. So Mark Cuban, I don't know him personally. I haven't met him. I'd like to. I like Mark Cuban. I think he's cool.
I had a little email back and forth with him once, but that's another story for another day.